Folks, welcome to another episode of Arcane Assist. I'm Rebecca, joined again this week by Ryan, coming up to us from lovely Buffalo, New York. He is a frequent principal host of the Blightbringers podcast, which is, to my way of thinking, one of, if not the best Legion-centric podcast in all of the War Machine community.
There's literally only two of us, and I feel like going the best out of two is really not a high bar, but I appreciate the compliments nonetheless.
Top two for sure.
Obviously.
And he's obviously playing some more Legion for us. I think this is a list that was pitched to you by some Discord members.
Yes.
As we previously discussed, you're a big deal on the Discord.
That's still not true. It has never been true. It's never going to be true.
I don't know. Being a big deal on Discord is like, I love Zane, but if Zane can do it, I feel like anyone can.
I mean, that's because he has a corn outfit. When you have a corn outfit, you could be big anywhere too.
I have a dress. It's pretty good.
It's not a corn outfit.
It's not a corn outfit.
It's not. You can't be buttered and rolled in salt? ? I'm not entirely sure how that worked with him. Something weird happened with it. He'd never tell me what. ... Adepticon is weird, but
why
amazing.
don't you tell us about the War Machine list you brought for this doll game that we're playing, and we can get right off this topic.
All right, I can do that. So this week I brought Kallus2. It was suggested to me, as Rebecca said, on the Discord. I wish I knew anybody's real name on there, but I don't. So we're just
credit them under their Discord handles.
I don't even know those offhand.
Okay, well then never mind.
Yeah, I'm bad at this.
Okay.
But it's Kallus2 in Primal Terrors with Ammok, Golab, a Carnivean, a Scythean, Forsaken, Feralgeist, 2 Spell Martyrs, double Hellmouth for free because Hellmouths are amazing, and Jay Larson is very wrong about them. A max unit of Chosen, a max unit of Warmongers with Gorag, and a max unit of Blighted Rotwings. Go birds go.
Something, Hellmouths are fair and balanced.
They totally are.
For my part, Ryan's coming back to avenge or revenge his previous game played. So naturally, he's seeking retribution. I brought retribution.
Oh, snap. I see what you did there.
Yeah, I'm playing the amazing Battlebox caster of Magister Helynna. She's something of a star-crossed lover in the same house as Ron, but has a relationship with Ozzy, and her life has been complicated and challenging. Such is the story of a star-crossed force mage.
Retribution soap opera incoming.
Right? It's more of a tell and novella. Anyway, not important.
I'd watch it.
So I'm playing in Legions of Dawn, and I'm playing 2 max units of Sentinels with unit attachments. My battle group is Imperatus, a Chimera, and 2 Hydras. The principle of this list is that I'm trying to focus on a lot of raw damage output tools, lots of things that can be effective in a lot of contexts, but that I don't necessarily have a lot of focus efficiency tools like Soulless or Arcanists. I do have 1 Arcanist, which I think is virtually essential. Eiryss and a pair of Ghost Snipers as requisition options. Occurs to me, I also purchased an Artificer as a requisition option and definitely forgot to deploy that model. So don't do that.
Yep.
Or alternatively, if you're playing against somebody from out of town who drove all the way up here from Buffalo and then, got crushed in the previous game that you played.
Ouch.
Maybe you just play down as a handicap out of respect for his time and his energy.
I mean, somebody needs to give me something here.
Harsh but fair.
Definitely didn't get it in the last game.
Yeah, no, that's not true, and I have much more respect for my opponent than that. Ryan's actually a canny opponent, and I believe you shall see that in spades this game. So without further ado, I think we're going to jump right into it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as we had said earlier, I won the roll-off to go first, which, exciting. I'm already doing better than the last time we played.
Step 1.
Step 1. Cut a hole in the box. Ah, God. I should not have gone there. Too bad.
There was a really interesting article on The Toast a couple of years ago that talked about how Dick in the Box is kind of like an amazingly feminist piece. There's a lot of, inclusivity. There's a negotiated conversation about consent. There's, positivity. There's ongoing relationship. There are many things about it that are actually, surprisingly aware. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I just remember the 3 steps, honestly.
Yeah,
but it's been 10 years since I've heard that song. So.
Also, this is a gentleman who has put some preparatory engagement into the process.
It's true.
He's thoughtful. He's methodical. He's organized.
Yeah, he's definitely there for you.
He's crafty.
I mean, that's definitely important. You got to be handy or handsy. One or the other.
A little column A, a little column B.
There you go. So as I'm setting up, I'm trying to be cognizant of terrain. I obviously went first, so I didn't get to pick side, but I got a couple of obstructions here. There's an acid pool, which is a little worrying. Ogres don't necessarily like being corroded, but birds can go over it because go flight. I figure I can probably make some decent use of the obstructions because of the cover bonus. I don't really have that many guns, and I know you've got at least a few in the list, so I feel like the cover bonus might come into effect. But really, I'm just trying to position around where I think things are going to be in a turn or two, and try and keep out of, rough terrain with, like, the Warmongers until Gorag wants to mini-feat, or away from things with, like, the Scythean and Carnivean, which don't have flight, and that can actually impact their movement.
Because Warmongers don't actually have Relentless Charge. They just have no quarter, right?
Yes.
Like the mini-feat?
Correct.
Yeah, so, they're good at getting over one hump, but they don't really want to be in a spot where they have to kind of linger for a while.
Right.
Conversely, however, the Sentinels, they're going to unpack in a weird way. This forest is definitely a major feature of the game, and I think we're going to have to look at those Sentinels either going around it or kind of nesting partway in it and coming out of it with their Relentless Charge. The premise of this list in a couple of different ways is get good use at a Hand of Destruction by having relevant high-power battle group models that are focus efficient and have minimal points invested in support. So here's me with minimal points invested in support, hoping to just crack some armor and crack some skulls.
Well, I mean, it works. The armor in this list isn't terribly high. I mean, Chosen only start at 17. There is no Blightbringer. It's not like it's Animag or Kallus2 that can really push the armor to an absurd level. So, I mean, 17, 18 isn't too bad to crack, and you've got Hydras that I believe are POW 15 guns.
They're POW 15. They're hand cannons, but then they get +1 range and +1 POW for each focus that they started their turn on.
So they can be up to 15.
Yeah.
You've still got Empower through the one Arcanist, so one of them can go in and punch if it needs to.
Yep.
And it's not like my armor is off the chain.
Yeah, and with Signs of Importance, they can end up doing pretty well. So I see you placed your Hellmouths, one kind of quite well protected behind that obstruction, and the other one within 4 of the healing objective.
Yes. The thought process was if that one behind the objective is going to take some damage, it's going to be able to heal up. It can probably survive to the mid-late game then, and then it just becomes a huge issue to get rid of and acts as a massive area board denial, while the other one gets to sit in the zone, and if you pop off tentacles, then great. It sits in the zone and either scores or contests, and if you don't, well, it's going to do that either way.
Yep. It's pretty nice having the Hellmouth just like a little bit into that 12-inch zone because it can threaten more or less the entire thing.
Yes, 11.5 something, I think is the accurate official measurement.
Some distance.
Some distance between 11 and 12.
8 plus a medium base plus a 2-inch melee.
Exactly. So some distance, I don't know, math nerds figure it out.
There's a good experience here, which Canadians are not uncomfortable with at all, but Americans should find deeply upsetting, where this game uses both the metric and imperial system.
Yeah, see, that doesn't actually bother me.
Yeah, it should. It really should.
It doesn't. I live close enough to Canada that I'm used to dealing with both.
That's fair.
I'm literally only an hour south of here.
How many kilometers?
I couldn't even tell you how many miles it is. I go by time.
Yeah, it's true. There was a post going around for a little while that was like, Canadians measure height if of people in inches and feet, height if of buildings in meters, distances in kilometers, and like weights, in pounds, unless it's over a certain amount, in which case in kilometers, unless it's under a certain amount and being used for baking, in which case in cups. Like there's all this like flow chart of what are you measuring and how are you doing it.
So it's literally like Mark II dusters. Okay.
Yeah, it's the Mark II Dusters flowchart, but for choosing measurements. But then a bunch of my friends were like, well, that's not accurate because distance we measure in time.
Yep.
Like that's about 30 minutes away. That's about 20 minutes from here. Or how far is Sarnia? Oh, like an hour and a half.
Yep. It's funny when you go anywhere outside of the Northeast and try and do that. People look at you like no, how many miles or kilometers is that? It's like, I don't know. I know I can get there in 20 minutes. What else matters?
Yeah, I grew up on the West Coast, and that was an absurd way to measure things because it depended on time of day and level of traffic and geography and weather conditions and a whole bunch of things. And you're like, why would you measure that in time? But
so
here we are in the living space area of the world.
Yeah, checks out. So first turn, I basically just run everything forward. The Warmongers, I'm not entirely sure on their positioning. They're kind of way off on a flank on that top side. Near the clock. I'm not 100% sure that's the right place for them, but I feel like
one of those scenarios that really needs you to go wide, though. So I don't know. I don't know. I actually saw you do that and was like, that's actually pretty clever.
See, you're giving me too much credit again, but you're going to continue to do that no matter what I say, so I guess I just have to accept it.
I've been described on the internet as nauseatingly positive.
Oh, God, what was it? Excessively polite, I believe, is how I've heard it described.
Oh, dear. That's lovely.
And that was by another Canadian, so what does that tell you? It wasn't even an American that said it.
That shows you that we have standards. Even we have a line.
I mean, somebody should. We clearly don't.
Ooh.
Anyway, so birds are running up. The Carnivean posts up behind that obstruction. I dropped something on the floor, apparently. And Kallus is hiding out in the middle of the board behind a bunch of Chosen with Blazing Path up. So I'm immune to fire, but that does nothing.
Light some stuff on fire if I try to jam you or whatever.
Yeah. If you get Sentinels up there, that is the important part, is you won't just be able to run up and be like, hey, I engage you. Well, now you're on fire, and I can feat and just remove all of that, potentially.
So a couple of quick notes. Helynna, again, one of the things that's key about this list is it has very, very little focus support. So I had to think very strategically, what's this turn about? For me, this turn is about killing a Hellmouth. The way I'm going to kill that Hellmouth is I'm going to have a POW 15 Hydra shoot it with Signs of Importance from Hand of Destruction. And that's going to let me Hand of Destruction. It has 8 boxes, which means I need to do 5 points of damage, and then Eiryss needs to shoot it to do the last 3. So what I need to roll a Signs of Importance 8. That's pretty good. I can't boost it because it loses a die, so functionally it's an unboosted roll even with the focus invested.
Yep.
But a Signs of Importance 8 is pretty comfortably average.
Yep.
So I throw out Hand of Destruction. I am able to put up Rhythm and War. The Hydra moves up, shoots, connects, and damage, it does literally nothing. I roll a 1-1-2.
Womp womp.
Bit disappointing, but that's okay. I think one has to move on from that pretty quickly. Eiryss moves up, she takes a shot, she gets to do her 3 points of damage.
Especially
she hits and does
she
3.
does her 3. Especially this early in the game, though, you can't let that get in your head, right?
Right, absolutely. If you spent the point, if you at this point in the game went on tilt, that Hellmouth dying is not, it's not win or lose right now. It would be nice. Obviously, it's a huge piece to be able to strip off the board, but I've got Ghost Snipers who can kill it. I've got Eiryss who can commit to it in future turns. I've got access to more Hand of Destruction shots if I need to. I'd like to be able to commit the Hydra to some other responsibility next turn, but it sure could just kill it if I needed to.
Right.
So my focus right now is, okay, I didn't kill it. That's fine. I have to plan to make good use of this next turn.
Right.
If instead I'd gotten really in my head about, oh my God, my dice are so bad. Oh, this is so terrible. That benefits no one but honestly Ryan, because if I'm distracted thinking about dice, I'm not focusing on the areas that I need to be focusing on.
Right. So the Sentinels move up, and I really think it's kind of cute that the one you put in the forest for me to try and kill was the
Soulless Escort.
The Soulless Escort, which still triggers vengeance on the rest of the unit because he's part of the unit now.
Sure does.
So that was a kind of cute play that you didn't think I'd know, but didn't fall for it.
No, that's good. That's good. Little litmus tests. You have to be at least this not stupid to ride the Sentinel train. The Hydra moved up and shot a bird. Other Sentinels unpacked. I'm focusing on keeping them pretty wide. I don't need to be base to base for the +2 armor. I mostly just need to make sure that I'm staggering them in waves, and then those waves are things that you can't get great berserks off of, that you can't deal multiple attacks. I'm really trying to make it cost you resources to come in on these units.
Right, and you're also spread out wide enough to be able to play scenario, which is important. Each Hydra can potentially get to a square zone. You've got enough units in the middle. So
that's the hope.
For the mid game, whereas my units are maybe a little more spread out, my beasts can potentially get there, but the units can't necessarily all converge to try and fight you one-on-one.
Yes.
So I think that's a good thing for you because in my case, I don't necessarily have the number of attacks to try and get through you. I really need, Warmongers have to kill 2 or 3 Sentinels each.
Yes.
Whereas birds aren't really going to be able to hurt you. They'll still potentially can get Battle Lust. They can still be POW 9 Weapon Masters, but that might not be enough if you start stacking armor buffs.
They're actually not great against Sentinels, but pretty decent against the Jacks, especially post-feat turn.
Right.
So, you got to make some choices. You have to sacrifice something to sort of have a line of engagement.
Right.
And I think you're right to sacrifice birds there. Hellmouth Tentacles are obviously the ideal candidate for jamming.
But. They sure are. And, you flip the clock over, and that's exactly what I do is spawn a tentacle and start moving tentacles up to jam and just kind of be in the way. I'm being very careful to make sure I'm not triggering vengeance on anything because giving you even more attacks on top of all of those dudes is not really ideal. That one runs back because he's going to be within range of Ammok because we're going to strip your upkeep off.
It's clever. I like it. Obviously, it costing me 2 to reapply it and needing to roll a die versus it costing me 1 to reapply it is a significant difference.
Right, and it's also just another D3 damage to throw on her, which if I can maybe get a bird or a Golab or something to her, that's finisher that's already procced then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a big deal.
So I can't really get anything, but birds decide they're going to go jam and be, in the way. I'm not entirely convinced they're going to be super relevant in this game, but what they can be is in the way and hopefully get me a scenario lead. They can just slow down Sentinels who have to make attacks on them, especially if I don't trigger Vengeance. You're now spending an activation on them as opposed to just getting Vengeance attacks and then still being able to go do things.
Yeah, and it's a 22-point activation for your... How many points is that unit of birds?
I think a max unit is 11 points.
Yeah, so 2-to-1 investment.
Yeah.
You've tied them up pretty effectively.
Which seems fine to me.
The Ghost Snipers in the last turn did kill 2 of the Hellmouth Tentacles, so you only got to spawn 1. And that's the ambition behind that is just, reduce your efficacy of your jam.
Right.
I thought actually pulling the tentacle back to have Ammok clear the debuff was quite clever. But that is also one less piece that you're jamming with this turn. So,
but it's the difference between, like you had said, making you have to roll it again, maybe not getting there.
For sure the right line of play.
Yeah, rather than letting you cycle your damage buff, which is a thing I don't want to do. None of that shenanigans.
Ideally, I cycle. That damage buff is really cool if you can get it to roll.
Yep, and here I'm measuring out, because looking at it and saying, oh, well, can Golab potentially get to Hey? I don't know. It's close enough, and I start looking at it and then went, you know what? If I'm starting to plan an assassination on top of 2, I'm probably doing something wrong.
I mean, if you can get there, it'd be great. And you do threat for days and days. But I think one of the big problems with her right now is that big forest in the way.
Right.
Hard to get the line of sight you need to get the extra range of a charging.
It is, though having that 21-inch threat range, well, potentially 21-inch threat range is very nice. It really kind of means that I could get potentially anywhere under the right circumstances. So you can never really say, oh, well, Golab's on the other side of the table. For now, sure. he could get around. Same thing with the Carnivean. Yeah, okay, maybe an extra 5 inches isn't a lot, but it's an extra 8 if something's on fire, and that's not nothing.
Yeah, as we determined in our previous game, playing Wormwood, I mean, threat ranges are huge.
Yeah.
And unusual or unpredictable vectors of threat ranges are even a bigger deal.
Mm-hmm. Anything that you can do that's just non-linear movement is oftentimes enough to throw a wrench into somebody's plan. And, I mean, Overrun is definitely non-linear if you can get there. But otherwise, like I had said, I'm not triggering Vengeance on anything. I'm really just kind of moving up to jam. A couple chosen go up to stand in the way. I decide not to go into that forest because you do have Relentless Charge, and I don't believe that forest is 3 inches across, or under 3 inches across. So if I go into it, there's a non-zero chance that those Sentinels just charge and kill those chosen. And I kind of don't want them to die for no reason.
Yeah, die for no reason. Not ideal.
Yep. Kallus goes up, and I try a little bit of a, I guess, ballsy play. He had upkept his spell. I cast Overrun, and then just try to hard cast a Brand of Fire to get rid of a Ghost Sniper. I missed the hard 8, and now he is sitting, I think, relatively safe on 0 camp. But I mean, are you ever really safe on 0 camp?
Yeah, I've gotten some cute lines of play with Helynna before, but this list doesn't have a lot of tools and tech to really reach out and touch you that way. It's more direct, more linear.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. So one thing I didn't realize is Overrun specifies you have to kill something with an attack during your combat action. But if you were I initiate my combat action, this Blazing Path that I now cast is an attack. You can kill something with a spell and proc Overrun.
Yep.
Which is kind of wild. I hadn't encountered that before. And obviously it's a 5 focus investment, possibly 6 if you're boosting. It's very expensive to do, but just that's a thing that's possible is a cool tool to have in your...
Right. So the Carnivean moves up and assault charges Eiryss and just sprays her off the table. So it's one less thing I have to worry about. Eiryss ain't killing that Hellmouth anymore.
That was a solid line of play. I did not anticipate that, which I thought was pretty cool.
Go assault spray on a Carnivean. Rat 5 is apparently good enough.
I mean, with the boost, it's a coin toss, right? That's pretty effective.
It's all right.
I've risked a 7-point solo for a coin toss. It's not bad at all.
No. Warmongers basically flood that top zone. Everything, all my other support just kind of moves up, and I say, all right, kill some birds and let's do it.
Yeah, so I'm pretty effectively jammed up, and I need to kill the pieces that are going to matter in terms of being able to take out my list. So one thing that I've got going for me that a lot of lists don't have access to is the fact that as a theme benefit, my jacks can move through my Sentinels.
Yep, I had completely forgotten about that.
Yeah, that's a cool feature. It's when determining line of sight. and they can advance through them if they have enough movement. So it's kind of like Tactician. It's pretty cool. So what I'm planning to do here is I'm planning to like draw a line with the Sentinels, have them all mini feet, have many of them base to base, just advance in and have each of them kind of go down the chain with some redundancy attacks, tight enough formed up so that I've got, reach on to a few birds each so that if I miss some sixes, I'm safe, and then kill as many birds as I can, and then have Imperatus go through that with a full allocated stack and kill as many Warmongers as he can.
Yep.
Ideally, kill the first one, sidestep deeper, kill the next one, sidestep deeper, and then kill like Gorag or whatever.
Yeah. And instead, those Sentinels just roll a bunch of hard sixes and remove 8 out of the 9 remaining birds.
Yeah, the Sentinels rolled well. Actually, it's weird because I got to a point where I was like, I built redundancy into each of the attacks. So like this guy all of a sudden didn't need to worry about killing that next guy. He didn't need that extra attack. And then I got to the last bird and I was like, I have 4 Sentinels available to attack this guy. And like the first 3 of them missed. So we needed the redundancy, just not in the pattern of expectation we thought.
Yep, but removes all of the birds and then Imperatus goes up to say hello.
So Imperatus hit and killed his first attack, but he toughed.
Tough, turns out.
And then he procced the use of the treasure chest this round, so he got a reroll on a damage roll that failed, but it still failed. So he bought another attack. So don't dig as deep with Imperatus as I would have liked. And I end up being in a situation where Imperatus spends his entire stack and simply forced tough checks on 3 Warmongers who passed all 3 of them.
Yep, my dice did not let me down this turn.
Yeah, it was a solid Warmonger turn, but even just knocking them all down is worth it. Like I could have bought the attack and finished the guy, but I'm more concerned at the stage with, they won't be able to get a vengeance attack. They'll have a less effective activation. Yep. They won't be able to attack anything because they'll be isolated. So
because of where Ammok is, they're not getting Rise anymore, so it does hurt them quite a bit to not be that close to him.
That subtle not killing the Hellmouth and pulling Ammok this way tech.
Yep.
It was a plan, right?
That was sneaky. I didn't see that one coming.
Not an ideal strategy. So I do put out Hand of Destruction again this time. I actually screw up my order of activations slightly and we fix it. I'm like, Hand of Destruction, and then the Hydra moves up and shoots it. And I'm like, or Helynna gets the rest of an activation? And Ryan was like, oh yeah, no, please, by all means, finish her activation. So in a second, you're going to see she... I move her over. She
scoots.
She feats... she casts Hand of Destruction and is on 1 with Rhythm War up. So,
but that Hellmouth, I believe, is dead now.
Yes, we did kill the Hellmouth. Hand of Destruction expires after killing the Hellmouth. So the Hydra got it on the second attempt. The Chimera walked into melee with a Chosen after getting Concentrated Power from an Arcanist, did a combo strike and boosted damage and killed.
Just punches him.
Yep, which is pretty great. He didn't tough, and I managed to at dice +1. I rolled the 7 necessary to kill him.
Yep, which never a bad thing.
Yeah, I'm trying to take the scary pieces off the table, which includes most of the battle lustable units, all those things that can really rip things up.
Yep.
I feel like even a smattering of remaining Sentinels, and I expect to hold on to quite a few, are going to be enough to really, really deal with the Legion heavies that remain.
Yes. Because everything is kind of not able to move as much as I would like. Like, Overrun will let you bounce around a little bit, but it doesn't let you really get through an entire unit.
Yeah, that's more of a volume of attacks issue. So a couple things here. I get a few charges in on Golab. I get a few charges in on the Chosen here. That includes a couple of Sentinels that charge the jamming Hellmouth tentacles. In a second, you're going to see even the Soulless Escort gets to charge.
He does. He gets in there and tries to do some work.
Mm-hmm. There's a couple of you saw crisscrossing lines, which is basically like we're really 2 inches away, so I'm going to go left and you go right, so we both get 3 inches.
Yep.
Like that happened a few times.
Yep.
So
get those charge bonuses.
The officers come up. So we're doing the attacks on Golab first.
First one hits.
6s to hit.
And
he rolls okay.
Put some decent damage in there. The second one does the same thing. He rolls and he hits it, and decent damage again.
Mm-hmm. And this third guy's attacking over a wall. I probably could have positioned him a little tighter, but he misses his attack either way. Guy charges a Chosen and misses. Second guy charges the Chosen, hits him, kills him, forces a tough check.
Sure does, and he toughs, and then heals 3.
Solid tough check, Chosen.
So kill a Chosen just for him to still be at half health.
Unexpected. Slightly unwelcome.
Very welcome.
The Soulless, though, charged him. He rolls his damage, and he is dice -8. He does not kill him.
No. He tried hard.
He did. He's a tryhard. If he'd been on like one box, maybe he would have done it. Anyway, I killed the 2 tentacles.
Yep.
So the Sentinels, again, I've drawn a big line of Sentinels, but they haven't really done a lot. They've managed to, get my army to dig a little bit deeper than expected, maybe. And they've all mini-feated, and Helynna's feated, so they've all got +6, in some cases +8 armor. So I'm trying to make them a non-trivial roadblock. Ghost Snipers move over and shoot the 2 folks that Imperatus knocked down. He's now engaging 1 that's knocked down.
Yep. And then somebody... Oh, not yet. Okay.
I realize I have not yet.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got a Hydra left.
That Hydra's going to go, and he's going to try and pop Gorag.
Yeah, so the Hydra gets an aiming bonus, shoots Gorag, he hits, boost damage. This is dice -1.
Leaves him on 2.
And does not quite do it.
Which...
Oh, well.
Super useful for me.
Yeah, Gorag's definitely somebody you want to hold on to.
Yeah.
Imperatus gets Rhythm of War, comes back a little bit. Hydra comes back a little bit with Rhythm of War 2. I've got a Chimera and a Hydra who are both going to move back with Rhythm of War. Really cool spell. The sort of dynamic late game reposition is pretty cool.
Yep.
So I got a lot of stuff in my feet. Some stuff's out of the feet. What are we feeling?
A little nervous here. I feel like I lost way too many dudes to that turn, but I also kind of expected to lose birds. So now I'm just looking at it going, okay, I really need to make a comeback. I need to start thinning out these Sentinels, or I really need to be getting some work done. We can't just kind of dawdle around. So the Warmongers get their vengeance, and only 1 gets close enough to get an attack, which is a little sad, but he gets there at least, which is better than nothing. The other 2 just move up, and Gorag moves over just enough to say, okay, you're in line of sight, so you're -2 defense. That may be enough. He rolls his attack, and he hits it like a good guy, and then rolls damage and does 1. I mean, 1 is better than none, but still only 1.
And yet.
So, kind of forgot about Brand of Fire, because,
Oh, yeah. Partway through this turn, you're like, Brand of Fire? I'm like, oh, yeah. Nope, that's some stuff we should mark.
Yep. So we double check and make sure it does, in fact, apply to everything. It's not just battle group.
Bunch of Sentinels are on fire, though.
Oh, yeah. There's, I think, 5 or 6 of them on that right-hand side that are all just burning up because they got too close.
I mean, it's not actually terrible right now. It probably doesn't change what I would have committed to. It requires, like, anybody who charged something and then that thing died isn't worried about the Brand of Fire. The other thing we forgot is, of course, the Ogre who toughed would be on fire from Imperatus's blade because he would have been out of Kallus' control range. But we missed a couple of minor things. Well, let's just pretend that fire shook.
Yep. We're totally good at this game. Promise.
And it's... honest mistakes happen. Is as much as you can catch them and sort of try to make your game state accurate again. But,
everyone's a person. It happens.
I don't like to play games that have a whole ton of mistakes, but I certainly like to acknowledge them when they're there. So.
Yep. But we fixed it, so game state seems fine.
Yeah.
We start looking at it, and now I'm going and eyeing an assassination run yet again. Because overrun is a thing that exists. I've got a Scythean fairly well positioned to do that. So we start talking it out and say, all right, well, if I'm going to do this, we're going to do it cooperatively because that's how this game works.
Oh, I mean, I can certainly help with the measurements and workshop the stuff. And, I mean, it keeps me from getting bored on my turn,
There you go. So we're looking at it, and my thought process is the Scythean is going to get up. He's going to go and thresher through a bunch of those Sentinels and then overrun onto Helynna, which seems okay as long as I can get rid of all of those Sentinels on one thresher. Then I get there with 3 attacks, and that's probably okay. Not great, but it's probably doable.
So Helynna has functionally 20 boxes because she's camping 1 focus.
Right.
She's armor 18 and defense 15. So you need 9s to hit her, and you're rolling 3 dice. So you're hitting her like in the almost 70% of the time category. So let's ignore that for a moment and assume everything hits and then come back to the damage later. You're past 17, which means dice -1, which means each of your attacks do 6 damage.
Mm-hmm.
If you get to her with 3 attacks, you do 18 damage to her 20. If we average that against the 70% expected damage, you lose not quite a third of that, which means you do about 13 damage to her.
So it's not great, but I'm thinking that maybe I can get there and maybe get something done.
Sure. And as we talked, if we can get something on fire and get a free charge there, that'd be good. Or if we can get something else participating in the assassination. When it's just the Scythean looking at this problem, I'm feeling pretty okay about it. But you start talking about, well, maybe Golab can get in there, or maybe this thing can get in there. And I'm like, oh, that's all of a sudden a problem.
Yep. So we start measuring it out, and unfortunately to do this, it's going to put Kallus in kind of a weird spot. He basically has to charge a Sentinel to clear a lane, to maybe get Brand of Fire out, to light a couple of those Sentinels and Helynna on fire. That gets me the free charge then, but it also puts him way up the table and on zero camp to do it.
So I think at this stage we have decided we are all in.
Yep. We said, screw it. If we're going to do it, we're going to go all in and make it as best we can. So I move Chosen up. They make a couple of attacks to start, mostly get out of the way and kind of try and clear some of this out.
So if this assassination fails, expect Kallus to die within a few moments.
Yeah, basically.
You do kind of unjam some Sentinels there.
Yep.
With the Chosen. But again, one of the big things about this line of play is that those Sentinels are pretty high armor, so they're not nothing to kill.
No. And because the Chosen really didn't get a charge, they're only hitting at POW 13. I can't afford to Battle Lust them to get it from Weapon Master, and that is the other problem.
Yeah, so you're not making a great attrition push on this turn. We really are committed to this particular assassination.
Yeah.
Not to say that it's necessarily a bad assassination, as you're going to see. There's a couple of moving parts here that are not, I think, immediately obvious to either of us.
Nope. But for the time being, so we don't give anything away, the Chosen go up. They make a couple of attacks, and I start looking at the board and saying, okay, what do I have here? The Carnivean's still on the right-hand side. It can maybe chip in by lighting some things on fire. It's still got that nice spray. Golab can maybe get there through some weird overrun. I measure out there and be like, oh, well, maybe I can, have him somehow charge over the objective to get to something and light a couple of those Sentinels in front on fire. The angle isn't there, but I keep looking at different ways to try and get fire out, to try and get things where I could use them.
Yeah, Kallus is such a vector caster. I feel like every time I've ever played him or against him, I spend a lot of time just thinking, like, you can do anything. I guess I just have to hope that you're bad and ship the clock and hope you don't kill me.
Yep. So the Carnivean moves up, and I'm not, in retrospect, not entirely sure why I did it in quite this way. He sprays to try and clear out a couple of those Sentinels. But
I think one of the things you talked about was just unjamming Golab, because he could be just sort of a role player in any element of this.
Yeah.
Like, he could be important to contribute to something. He could be important to unjam something. Like, he's just got a lot of tools and a lot of flexibility.
Yep. And you can really just kind of get around.
You had a weird line there where you assaulted through a Sentinel's free strike to charge the one behind him to get a better vector for the spray.
Yep.
And the free strike didn't kill the Carnivean. He didn't even take anything out. So I think it was actually kind of right. And then you hit a couple of back arcs with the spray. So.
Yep. Hit a couple of them, but didn't really kill any. Only POW 14, and they're all arm 18 plus.
Yeah, we've got base 15 plus 3 from the feet plus 3 from the mini feet takes it to 21. If they're base to base, 23. Yeah. And then some of them are out of range of the feet. Some of them aren't base to base. So there's a whole bunch of variables of armor, but high to quite high.
Yes,
I think is the answer.
So I hit, I think, 3 of them. I only managed to kill 1 and light the other ones who were already on fire even more on fire. Not particularly helpful, but I suppose one less Sentinel is still one less Sentinel.
Yeah, that's your melee attacks finished off the 2 that were in melee with Golab. So you removed a few.
Yeah, and because I'm still killing stuff near Golab, he's RFPing them and he's healing back up to.
Yeah, at this point Golab is healed for I think almost 12 hit points.
Yeah, I think he's only down 3 or 4 boxes.
Yeah,
so
he's in a pretty good spot.
It becomes if I need to take a free strike or if something happens, it's not a guarantee that something's going to go out anymore.
So Kallus charged, and he starts the experience off by making sure he's not in melee with more than the 1 Sentinel, casts Overrun on himself.
Not yet.
No, sorry, didn't cast Overrun on himself.
He cast Overrun on the Scythean
Cast
through
Overrun on the Scythean.
the one spell martyr that was back
He
there.
had a cute little spell martyr tucked behind that wall, so he got Overrun up on the Scythean.
Yep.
And then he charged.
And he hits his attack.
He hits the attack, lights the Sentinel on fire.
Yep. And then needs...
POW 15?
POW 15.
So...
Doesn't do the damage roll.
Does not kill him.
So ends up buying an attack.
And this time you cast Overrun, right?
Yes. This time he casts Overrun on himself.
Yeah, because at this point you're like, well, if we're doing this, might as well get Golab involved in the play. And then you boost damage and you kill him.
I kill that one Sentinel. Golab is, he lights the other two on fire because that one died. So anything within an inch becomes lit on fire. Always a plus.
Fire. Always the answer.
Yep. And I believe at this point Kallus feats and says, all right, well, everything that's on fire is taking a POW 12. Unfortunately, because everything's armor 21 plus, POW 12 is really not enough to do anything.
Some of the armor 23 guys don't die, and some of the armor 21 guys don't die.
Yeah, it turns out nothing dies. So now I'm looking, saying, okay, well, I've got Overrun. How am I going to get Golab involved? Where is he going to go? Where's the best place for him to go?
We talk about this for a minute, and it's cool, because we look at, like, if Golab goes this way, he can get into range of Fiona, and then can he get to a spot where he advances without ever entering the melee range of the Sentinel? And the answer is no.
No.
Any place that he goes to, he'd either enter the melee range of the Sentinel or need to take a free strike from it when he was making his charge attack.
Which is less than ideal because Sentinels hit real hard.
They do. So we abandon that line of play and we think, okay, well, where else could he be? If he's taking a free strike from the Jack, actually taking a free strike from the Hydra, who's POW strength 15, is actually probably better than a Weapon Master POW 12 free strike.
Yep.
So
I decide that, okay, maybe I'm going to put him on the left-hand side of that Hydra.
So there's a line here where Golab, if he had to charge Helynna, would have to take a free strike from both the Hydra and the Chimera.
Yep.
And he's not in range yet. And I'm like, what's your plan here? And you're like, if I get to you with the Scythean and I hit you with a melee attack, you'll be on fire. With the feet, that'll give me the plus 3 inches of range?
Plus 3 inches plus the free charge.
Plus the free charge. So now that Golab is part of the conversation, this assassination is looking a lot more interesting.
Yep. So the Scythean goes up. He gets, I believe, 4?
Yeah, he has to charge a Sentinel who's not on fire.
Yep.
And he ends up getting 4 Sentinels into his melee range.
As well as my one chosen.
Unimportant. Yeah. Everything is on the table here. This either works or it doesn't.
Fact.
50-50.
Mm-hmm. So he gets in there, and we measure it out and make sure, okay, he's good. He's not going to take free strikes, once he gets through here. There's a clear line as long as these 4 are dead for me to be able to get to her.
Yeah,
so we start rolling to hit, and we get the first one. And then we get the second. And this Scythean is just being a boss right now, getting the hits that he needs, and my dice are cooperating.
Hits everybody. So we do the quick math. Armor 21, it's POW 17, so he needs 5s to kill.
Right.
So 5s are pretty confident,
Yep.
so I'm going to point. You're going to roll.
Yep, and I can't afford to boost any of these.
No, you need these attacks for when you get to Helynna.
So 2 of them work, and the third one does not.
3 of them work, and the 4th one does not.
No, well,
or the second one does not.
One
One of the 4 does not work.
Yep.
Sentinel's on fire. And at this point, you're like, do I trigger Overrun or do I buy an attack to finish that Sentinel? Looking at the distance, looking at where I need to go, I have to buy that attack.
Yep.
So you
I
buy an
can't afford
attack,
to take the free strike and risk something going out.
hit this guy. This time he doesn't roll the 4, and you get in on Helynna with the ability to buy 2 attacks.
2 attacks.
So
That's
2 attacks
okay.
is not enough for the Scythean to really do it.
No.
But it sure is enough to get me on fire
Yep.
and to make Golab a part of the conversation.
So he definitely hits that first attack. Does a couple points here. I think it was 2 or 3.
Yep.
It wasn't many.
Yeah, she's taken, I think, she's down to maybe 10 boxes left, something in that neighborhood. And it's Golab time.
Yep.
So this really comes down to, in a huge way, that Golab is about to take 2 free strikes.
Yep.
Both of them are free strikes that hit on 5s and are dice -2. So there's a good chance Golab could lose a critical system.
Yeah.
Sorry, the Hydra's dice -2, the other one's dice -5.
Yep. Golab's got 22 boxes left. Really, the most damage he's taken in any one aspect is about 3 points.
Yep.
So there's a non-zero chance you can cripple something, but also you need to hit the right column to do it.
For sure. And really crippling anything would be acceptable.
Yep.
I roll both free strikes. They both miss.
Sure do.
Golab resolves his charge attack.
Yep.
With finisher. Doesn't roll amazingly. I reduce by 5. Helynna takes maybe 1 or 2 points.
Yep.
Boosts hit his second initial. That one also hits, only just. With the finisher damage roll, you leave me alive, but on, I think, 3 boxes.
Yep.
Boost hit your third attack. That one hits. You miss none of the 8s. You up to boost damage here just to lock it up. And
done.
Dead. That kills her.
That's Golab gets another caster kill to his name.
Golab doing his thing. Kills Helynna.
Golab,
Pretty amazing.
That guy is overpowered.
Golabulous.
Did you just...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yep.
Well, fair enough then, I guess. So, yeah, Golab ends up getting the game for me. My record to Miss Banky goes to 1-1. This is far better than my record before, which was 0-0. So I will take the 1 win that I get and probably retire from War Machine now.
500 batting average.
Exactly.
That's not terrible. Oh. I say knowing literally nothing about baseball.
I mean, same. I'll just be like Menoth John and, become president for life of War Machine and then retire.
Yes.
50-50 average. That's good enough, right?
It's absolutely. It's outstanding. It's remarkably impressive. So thanks very much for tuning in, folks. As I mentioned at the end of every episode, if you're watching this on our Patreon, we really do appreciate it. The support is one of the things that helps us continue to make this content and do what we do. And we work and try really hard to make positive and informative War Machine content. If you like what you see, let us know. And if you are watching this on YouTube, thank you still. I mean, that's still appreciated, and we're glad that you're engaging with us as a community and part of it. And if $1 a week doesn't seem like too much to ask, the Patreon subscription it's the thing, in my opinion.
Pretty dope.
It's basically just you get the videos a week early, and you show us your support, which we dig. Shout out, of course, to Blightbringers, amazing group of folks, big supporters of our community here. A meta not that distant from ours, and one that we really like and have always appreciated. So,
well, happy to hear
Ryan,
that.
for coming up and being a part of that. If you've not listened to their podcast before, it's tonally great, audio quality, well edited, really nice piece of information. They've had some really excellent guests on in the past and have done some really cool topics. Certainly Legion focused. But if you're tuning in for this and are interested in either, being a better Legion player or knowing how to beat Legion more effectively, I think both things are very well answered by the podcast on a regular basis.
We try to be as diverse as we can. Recently, we've been doing a lot more general topics, but we're going back to a lot more of Know Your Enemy and that kind of series. So we try and get guests on that play other factions to tell us, hey, here's how we would beat you. How would you beat us? What are the kinds of things you're looking for? So even if you don't play Legion, if if you play Ret and you want to find out, hey, I'm having trouble with a local Legion player, we go over everything as much as we can and try and give you a little bit of both sides.
Favorite podcast episode you've recorded?
Ooh, favorite one would probably be the one with Hungerford, honestly.
Very cool.
It was a very fun spoiler cast.
What episode was that?
Ooh, I don't actually remember the number offhand.
It's the one with the most downloads, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Look for whatever the most popular one is.
So yeah, it's been a treat having you up here, Ryan, and hopefully folks enjoyed the content that you helped us produce. And if you want to come up again, we'd be more than happy to have you.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. So folks, if you do not already, feel free to follow us on Twitter and like our page on Facebook. Both those things are linked in the comments below. We'll also have a link to the Blightbringers page, so you can check out their content and the stuff that they do, which I think is really awesome. And we shall see you next week.
Thanks for being here.